Right now at 5, after partnering with Iola Industries for 40 years, the Iola Elks receives a letter saying their lease is being terminated with no plans of renewal, and now they're searching for why that is.
Now we've got another chilly start for us today, but it is going to be a lot warmer. It's also going to be a bit windier. We'll break it all down coming up.
In town, the city of Joplin tells Amber Jenkins how they plan to deal with some possible congested traffic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bob.
I'm Chris Warner. It is very 5 a.m. I don't know, you take
on a Monday, in fact.
Take a few days off and boy, Monday suddenly hits you like a sack of bricks, I was talking with somebody at Casey's this morning and saying, I think what it is I can go to bed at the same time tonight, and if I wake up on my own tomorrow morning, I feel refreshed. I think it's the alarm. The alarm is what kills you. When it goes off and it's something telling you to wake up, no matter how much sleep you got, it makes you just feel even more tired.
I think that may be the reason why I have like 4 alarms set and I snooze the first 3.
It's not a bad idea. I might have to look into that. However, we got something else to look into today. Despite the fact that it's cold this morning, it's going to be a bit milder. We've got a 36 in Joplin, clear skies, feels like 30 out there at the south-southeast breeze at 7. Here's the thing though, the winds are going to start to pick up later today, as you can see. Gusts anywhere from 20 upwards of 30, possibly 35 miles an hour. I think the wind gust tracker may be a little overzealous on some of its estimates today, but it is going to be windy. And then after a break from the winds, as we head into Wednesday, you'll see these gusty winds begin to return across the area. So today is a trash can knocked over kind of day, so make sure that your trash can is, placed somewhere safe so it doesn't dump out all over. We got 29 Iola, 32 in Parsons in Miami, 34 Neosho, and 36 in Carthage as we start the day. And that light breeze makes it feel like 24 in Iola. 32 in Carthage, and feels like 28 in Fort Scott this morning. Kids getting on the bus this morning? Maybe? Okay, there we go. Kids getting on the bus this morning, looking at 33 at 7 a.m. with that south breeze, 5 to 15, gusting to 25. Holding on to those gusty winds this afternoon, maybe a few more clouds. 54, though, by 3 o'clock, and that is our expected high for today. For your morning drive, we have a green light. Will be cold, but mostly clear, and as you head home, same situation, will be clear. Mostly clear at least, and up into the 50s for the afternoon, so not bad. So again, our high today about 54 degrees. We may see a few additional clouds this afternoon, but otherwise we're going to be partly to mostly clear out there. Partly cloudy, mostly clear. Partly cloudy skies as we head into tonight. Not bad either, well above average, dropping only down to 40 tonight. As we look ahead, up to 61 tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe some evening storms Wednesday. That'll bring us down into the 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then by Sunday, we return back to the 50s with those mostly cloudy skies. So we're going to get a bit chilly, a little more January-like, but even then, those highs at least are still well above where they're supposed to be for this time of year. But the lows start to get a little more normal as we head into the end of the week.
That's right. Well, I like highs in the 60s.
That's not bad. For January, that's not bad at all. Not bad.
Then we dip back to the 40s. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, breaking news to start the morning as Jasper County detectives report an armed robbery at Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin. Authorities say just before 10 o'clock Sunday night, a man entered the store with a handgun. Individual was wearing a tan hoodie that he had gathered around his face to conceal his identity. He then demanded cash and fled south on foot. Witnesses say he got into a vehicle and proceeded east toward Webb City with an undisclosed amount of money. Authorities say no one was injured. They believe Casey's will open for normal operations. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Jasper County Dispatch or Sheriff's Office. You can follow this story as it develops on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A 3-car crash in Greene County takes the life of a man from Republic, Missouri. Approximately 8:45 Sunday morning at 2011 GMC Canyon, driven by David Cantrell, traveled off the road on US 60 at South Farm Road, 1 mile west of Springfield. The Canyon then crossed the median and struck a concrete bridge. It then entered the eastbound lanes and collided with a 2002 GMC Sonoma driven by Donald Underwood. The Sonoma in turn spun and struck a 2021 Ford F-150 driven by Jose Martinez. Martinez suffered minor injuries. The occupants of the Canyon all suffered serious injuries and were transported to Mercy Springfield. Underwood The only occupant of the Sonoma was pronounced deceased at the scene. The suspect in last week's armed robbery of a convenience store in Wheaton, Missouri, has been arrested and charged. Wheaton police say they arrested Jonathan Worthington of Aurora for the robbery. Authorities say Worthington walked into the Fast Trip store, showed a handgun, and demanded cash before leaving. He's now charged with armed robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Independence, Kansas authorities respond to a hostage situation early Friday morning. Just before 3 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl and hung up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, they learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. The knife wounds did not appear to be serious. Suspect surrendered peacefully and the victim was released. There was no danger to the public. With the completion of the new Dover Hill Elementary School, it comes with a whole new problem of its own: traffic. Luckily, the city of Joplin has a plan to try and balance that out. Amber Jenkins joins us in studio this morning to tell us more.
Thank you, Tanya. Joplin's newest elementary school is located near the intersection of North Main Street and Murphy Boulevard. Those two roads see about 16,000 and 5,000 daily cars. The school district is expecting about an additional 200 cars for pickup and drop-off. However, the flow of the traffic should not be affected much.
The city and the school district work together along with the Department of Transportation, and a traffic study was conducted for the school. It's a big enough traffic generator that we felt that was important.
The traffic study also showed engineers how the most effective place for the entrance and exit for Dover Hill Elementary.
Well, thanks, Amber. It sounds like it was pretty important. How vital was this traffic study?
The traffic study was very vital. In fact, because of that traffic study, they were able to plan out the entrances and the exit for the school without affecting traffic, and they also implemented a staggered dismissal, so whenever masses of students are leaving the school, it's not going to disrupt people heading to work or using that intersection.
All right, good to know and plan ahead. All right, thanks. Thanks, Amber. The Iola Elks have been partnering with Iola Industries, the lessee of the Iola Lake, also known as Elks Lake, for 40 years. Now, last June, the Elks received a letter from Iola Industries stating they are terminating the lease on December 31st. Any property from the Elks had to be removed, leaving the lake in its original condition. Todd Francis, exalted ruler for the Elks, says they're disappointed about the decision.
They did tell us that they were going in another direction in terms of the stewardship, in terms of a lease agreement, and that was disappointing to the Elks because we were very active at this lake and we held a number of events with that.
Iola Industries told the Elks they appreciate the partnership and development the Elks have done for the lake. Francis says they're looking to partner with whoever Iola Industries decides to work with. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, as the 100th anniversary of the Rosewood Massacre is remembered, it brings up many questions, including where descendants of the town would be if they had been left alone. Plus, how treadmill walking may help you burn those calories just a little bit faster. And we'll have a look at the start of your work week forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Oh, we've got another cold start for us across the area today, but it will be milder and it will be windier as well. We're at 36 in Joplin, feeling like 30 with a south-southeast breeze at about 7 miles an hour. However, as we go into today, wind gusts will start to pick up this afternoon, anywhere from 20 to possibly upwards of 30 miles an hour across the area. And then we'll see these gusty winds return by midweek as well. So today and by Wednesday, we're looking at a trash can knocked over kind of day. So make sure it's secure so it doesn't end up all over the place. Temperatures across the region look like this. they're cold. We got 29 in Iola, 32 in Parsons, 33 Chetopa, 32 Miami, 34 Neosho, 36 in Carthage, and 33 in Lamar and Nevada. And you factor in the wind, feels like 24 in Yates Center, 31 Columbus, 32 Carthage, 31 Lamar, feels like 30 up in Nevada. Now, kids getting on the bus this morning, looking pretty good, but cold at 7 a.m. We're mostly clear, 33 south breeze, 5 to 15, starting to see some of those early gusts, and then we'll really start to see them pick up this afternoon. We'll be mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock and 54. As you head out for your morning drive, we're looking pretty good. Got a green light. We'll be mostly clear this morning and cold, so not bad whatsoever. And as you head home, another green light, as well as some mostly clear to partly cloudy skies and in the 50s. We'll have a complete look at your full forecast when we come back. All right, so we touched on the cold that we're seeing this morning as we're all starting in roughly the upper 20s to lower 30s across the area. However, as mentioned, it's going to be breezy today, but it's going to be much milder as we're heading for a high of 54, be up to 52 by noon, 50 by 5, and down to 44 by 8 as the sun begins to set. So our highs today about 10 to 15 degrees above normal. As we head into tonight, same situation, about 10 to 15 degrees above normal as we drop back down to 40 under partly cloudy skies across the region. As you can see, not too bad. We'll have some increasing clouds towards sunrise, down to 43 by 11. Then we'll see those 40-degree readings kick in across the area. Future track doesn't have a lot to show us for the next couple of days. It's Wednesday that we actually see our first decent chance of any kind of precipitation as we head into Wednesday afternoon and into late Wednesday evening. We could see a few showers and thunderstorms across the area. Now, future track is also hinting at the possibility of a light wintry mix to our north. I think for the most part that should stay to our north, but this system is bringing some chillier weather to us, at least for a few days following, which we'll see now on the, not this, we don't want to see that yet, that's coming up later. We want to see this, the 7-day forecast, so check it out though. We're up to 61 tomorrow under mostly cloudy skies. 61 on Wednesday. Will be breezy again Wednesday with those evening thunderstorm chances, but we drop back down to 36. Only up to 44 Thursday, 41 Friday, 47 on Saturday, and then back up to 56 by Sunday. So we'll see our highs remain above normal as we head through the rest of the week, despite the fact it's going to be a little bit colder. But as you see our lows, as they start to drop off Thursday and Friday night, those are a lot more normal for this time of year. Well, 100 years ago, a thriving black community was terrorized and burned down. On New Year's Day, January 1st, 1923, an angry white mob set their sights on Rosewood, Florida. The mob believed that a black man who lived there assaulted a white woman in a neighboring town. For the next 7 days, the black residents there were targeted, murdered, and lost their property as they fled to try to save their lives. Nadia Romero explains the lasting impact 100 years later.
Over the past few years, growing efforts to unearth the tragedies of racial terror against Black Americans by fighting for awareness and atonement.
It was not a secret. So we always attended the family reunions, and it was something that was always shared.
Reagan Pickett says her whole life she's heard the traumatic tales of what happened in Rosewood, Florida in 1923. The town's black residents under siege by an angry white mob after a white woman said she was assaulted by a black man. Homes and businesses burned down, black families lynched, targeted, and torn apart. One survivor described the horrific events for CBS 60 Minutes in 1983.
I know they killed my aunt and they killed my granddaddy. Made my granddaddy dug his hole. He didn't have but one arm, but they made him dug his own grave. And he prayed and they shot him backwards in the grave.
Pickett's great-granduncle, a survivor of Rosewood, who fled to safety by train.
How many people actually died? Documented, we know 7 people, but we know there had to be more. We don't really know exactly where everybody went.
Old newspaper articles speak of Negro homes raided and burned down, those hiding in the woods fleeing the deadly white mob, calling the lynchings and terrorization of the black residents a, quote, clash between whites and blacks, followed by a special grand jury failing to return indictments. Florida State University professor Maxine Jones calls it an intentional whitewashing of history to hide the horrors of Rosewood.
I think we should feel uncomfortable about certain aspects of our history, but this is our history.
In 1994, Florida Governor Lawton Chiles signed a bill to give $150,000 to survivors and scholarships to their descendants like Pickett, who now attends college about 140 miles from where her family's history intersects with a painful past. Many saw the passing of the law as a big moment of reckoning.
I'm glad that the state of Florida acknowledged that Rosewood happened and decided to compensate the families. Again, you can't put a price on what these people lost, the generational trauma.
2 generations later, Jonathan Barry Blocker, a descendant of a Rosewood survivor, says his grandfather was separated from his family during the terror. Some family members were never reunited again, burying his painful memories by refusing to ever speak about what happened.
I didn't learn about his connection to Rosewood until I was 13 when the movie came out.
I was born and raised in Rosewood. This here's my home.
The 1997 movie Rosewood.
My father sat me down and informed me that people may ask questions in light of this movie. And I didn't know why. And he said, well, your grandfather was involved in the event.
Colored folks own all the land around here, all the businesses too.
This movie, the first time Blocker learned what he says had been haunting his grandfather.
It wasn't a full recounting of events, but the gist was someone lied, someone destroyed a whole community of lives, someone actually caused people to lose lives violently and suffer violence. And I just thought that was unconscionable.
Blocker says his grandfather applied for compensation from the state, but was denied because he couldn't prove he owned land in Rosewood. Fearing death, Blocker's grandfather, along with many of the other survivors, never returned to Rosewood and never reclaimed property and land. A loss back then, still impacting their families today.
Did we own land? Could we have owned land? Could we have amassed land? Could we have built wealth? What would that have looked like a generation or 2 generations down? What opportunities might we have pursued different than what we've pursued now? Might we be further along in our maybe generational goals?
The descendants, along with the University of Florida, are honoring the lives of those impacted by the Rosewood Massacre in a series of events starting Sunday with a wreath-laying event. That brings us to our question for you. Should countries pay reparations? You can vote yes or no through our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can vote through our app and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, tens of thousands of people across the country are now in the first week into dry January, where you abstain from drinking alcohol. And researchers say there's evidence that cutting out alcohol, even for just a month, can have benefits that last well into the year. Washington Post reported on one study found in the BMJ Open, which found that people who stopped drinking for a month saw significantly improved metabolism. And those people also shed about 4.5 pounds, had lower blood pressure, and a substantial reduction in levels of insulin resistance. Researchers also found that months later, people who did not drink in January were drinking less alcohol in general, as compared to people who did not participate. Medical professionals also say taking a break from alcohol can help you sleep better, elevate your mood and energy levels, which can reinforce the habit. With the new year underway, now's the time to supercharge your exercise routine. And for those who have walking in their regular regimen, it may be the treadmill that can help you get there. Treadmills hold a spot in the top 3 of most popular pieces of equipment at U.S. health clubs. An industry research group says more than 50 million people were using them in 2017. And the treadmill manufacturing industry is growing at more than 2% clip the past several years. Exercise experts say utilizing the several features of treadmills can help burn those calories a bit faster. Consider turning up the speed of the treadmill to change your pace. If that's too much, try going steeper. Use the incline feature on your next workout. Fitness experts say if you're able to do both, interval training is optimum to alternate the intensity of your treadmill workout. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Now, we've got a colder start for us today as we're starting in the 30s, but we have a milder day ahead of us and a bit of a breezier day ahead of us as well. We're going to take a look at your full forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, after partnering with Iola Industries for 40 years, the Iola Elks receive a letter saying their lease is being terminated with no plans of renewal. And now they're searching for why that is.
We've got a cold start to the day, but a clear start to the day. We'll talk about a milder afternoon and some gusty winds coming up.
And with a new school in town, the city of Joplin tells Amber Jenkins how it plans to deal with some possible congested traffic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:29, almost 5:30 on the dot. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit cold outside again this morning, but it's all right because it's not a preview, but we're leading into a much nicer, milder day for us today. In fact, we have a pretty decent week lined up for us. We're 36 in Joplin right now, feeling like 30 with a south-southeast breeze at 7. However, we're going to have to contend with this afternoon. Winds will start to pick up out of the south, gusting anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour across the area. So this is a trash can knocked over kind of day, and we may see these gusty winds return by Wednesday as well. Now, across the region this morning, sitting at 31 in Iola, 32 Yates Center, Parsons, Miami, 34 Neosho, Monette, and 36 in Carthage. You factor in that light breeze, making it feel like 32 in Carthage and Parsons, 26 in Chanute, feels like 24 in Iola. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looks pretty good so far. Got a green light for your morning drive as we're mostly clear, but on the cold side. And for your drive home, we'll have some passing clouds, otherwise not bad as we head into the 50s. Kids getting on the bus this morning will need that jacket, and it's going to be a bit cold. 33 degrees, mostly clear, south breeze 5 to 15. The wind gusts really start to pick up this afternoon. We're mostly cloudy and 54. Okay, the computer's taking on a mind of its own. Well, we're heading for a high of 54 today. We'll see some mostly cloudy skies for a little bit this afternoon, and we return to mostly clear skies this evening. And tonight we have partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, clouds increasing towards sunrise with a low of 40. And here's the beautiful part, 61 tomorrow, 61 on Wednesday, maybe some evening thunderstorms down to 36. And then we've got the 40s Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they're colder, but still above normal. Overnight lows get back down to normal. And then by the time we head to Sunday, we are warm yet again, up to 56 degrees. So overall, still not bad weather for January.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to a milder day, and we'd like the temperatures to stay like this all week. It'd be great.
That would be awesome. Unfortunately, they won't, but still, it could be a lot worse. We've been saying that the last couple of weeks, so just enjoy it while we've got it. We're still in winter.
There you go. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, breaking news to start the morning as Jasper County detectives report an armed robbery at Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin. Authorities say just before 10 o'clock Sunday night, a man entered the store with a handgun. Individual was wearing a tan hoodie that he had gathered around his face to conceal his identity. He then demanded cash and fled south on foot. Witnesses say he got into a vehicle and proceeded east toward Webb City with an undisclosed amount of money. Authorities say no one was injured. They believe Casey's will be open for normal operations today. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Jasper County Dispatch or Sheriff's Office. You can follow the story as it develops on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a three-car crash in Greene County takes the life of a man from Republic, Missouri. At approximately 8:45 Sunday morning, a 2011 GMC Canyon driven by David Cantrell traveled off the road on US 60 at South Farm Road, 1 mile west of Springfield. The Canyon then crossed the median and struck a concrete bridge, then entered the eastbound lanes and collided with the 2002 GMC Sonoma driven by Donald Underwood. The Sonoma in turn spun and struck a 2021 Ford F-150 driven by Jose Martinez. Martinez suffered minor injuries. The occupants of the Canyon all suffered serious injuries and were transported to Mercy Springfield. Underwood, the only occupant of the Sonoma, was pronounced deceased at the scene. The suspect in last week's armed robbery of a convenience store in Wheaton, Missouri, is arrested and charged. Wheaton police say they arrested Jonathan Worthington of Aurora for the robbery. Authorities say Worthington walked into the Fast Trip store, showed a handgun, and demanded cash before leaving. He's now charged with armed robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Independence, Kansas authorities respond to a hostage situation early Friday morning. Just before 3 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl who hung up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, They learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. The knife wounds did not appear to be serious. The suspect surrendered peacefully and the victim was released. There was no danger to the public. With the completion of the new Dover Hill Elementary School, it comes with an entirely new problem of its own: traffic. Luckily, the city of Joplin has a plan to try and balance that out. Amber Jenkins joins us in studio to tell us more. Good morning.
Thank you, Tanya. Joplin's newest elementary school is located near the intersection of North Main Street and Murphy Boulevard. Those two roads see about 16,000 and 5,000 daily cars. The school district is expecting about an additional 200 cars for pickup and drop-off. However, the flow of traffic should not be affected much.
The city and the school district work together along with the Department of Transportation, and a traffic study was conducted for the school. It's a big enough traffic generator that we felt that was important.
The traffic study also showed engineers the most effective place for the entrance and exit for Dover Hill Elementary.
All right, thank you, Amber. Well, it's Monday. Everyone's back to school, of course, again this week, too. Is there any reason parents should worry about traffic congestion?
After talking to the city of Joplin, I realized that parents really don't have much worry, especially the first day of school for Dover Hill Elementary was last week, and they've been monitoring how that intersection was go, the flowing of traffic, the picking up and dropping off, and everything ran very smoothly. There was tiny hiccups because it was the first day, but overall everything ran smoothly and it went pretty timely, might I add.
All right, well, thank you so much, Amber. Well, changes for Iola Lake in Allen County. The owners deciding not to renew the lease on the property after decades. KOAM's Yana Dula talked with the members of the Iola Elks Club, which were the long-term leasee on the lake.
I've always loved this area. It's, you know, even on this side, it's a great area just to come out, just to reflect on everything. I know a number of members are disappointed because they made a lot of memories. Being able to come out in the summers.
For 40 years, the local Elks Club leased the Iola Lake from Iola Industries. Todd Francis, exalted ruler for the Elks, says last June they received a letter stating they were terminating the lease on December 31st.
We had actually been able to develop the property to a point where it was very popular, not only among local members, but also for the town of Iola and local area, and then also in the statewide it was well known.
The Elks held several events at the lake. The local organization is disappointed about the decision without discussion. Any property from the Elks needed to be removed, leaving the lake in its original condition. Ryan Sieg, the lake chairman, says they installed a lot of new things the past years.
We spent a lot of time out there. I spent a lot of time and a lot of personal money out there to try to better the facility. We grew in membership by several members by some of the upgrades and some of the stuff we had done out there.
Iola Industries told the Elks they appreciate the past partnership. Francis says they are looking to partner with whoever Iola Industries decides to work with.
This is a great area. It brings in people to Iola, but it also gives us an opportunity to work with the new group and continue to hold a good partnership.
In Iola, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Well, access to the lake is currently locked. Residents can still use trails around the area. Well, this morning we're discussing pain reparations.
Over the past few years, growing efforts to unearth the tragedies of racial terror against Black Americans by fighting for awareness and atonement. Reagan Pickett says her whole life she's heard of the traumatic tales of what happened in Rosewood, Florida back in 1923. The town's Black residents under siege by an angry white mob after a white woman said she was assaulted by a Black man.
Homes and businesses burned down, Black families lynched, targeted, and torn apart. Old newspaper articles speak of Negro homes raided and burned down.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Should countries pay reparations? And so far, 12% of you say yes, 88% of you say no. You can vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
That whole time watching that story, the full story earlier this morning, it just made me keep thinking about what happened in Tulsa just a little over 100 years ago.
Yeah, that Tulsa race massacre, also a very dark part of our history. So,
Yes, never forget. Well, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we meet a college student who is in a league of her own as she becomes a Mario Kart champion.
Plus, a notorious human trafficker is caught and gets extradited to the UAE. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, at least one person died and 57 others were injured after two trains collided on Line 3 of Mexico City's metro on Saturday. A collision between the two trains resulted in a crash at the La Raza and Potrero stations. Authorities immediately responded to the scene. Mexico City's prosecutor has started an investigation on what caused the trains to collide. At least 40 people were killed and at least 78 others injured, some seriously, when two buses collided in central Senegal. President Macky Sall tweeted the collision happened in Jinibi village on Sunday at around 3:30 in the morning. He declared 3 days of mourning beginning today. Now, Sall also said he will hold a meeting to discuss road safety measures. Images from the crash site showed the damaged buses and a trail of debris along the road. Interpol says a notorious human trafficker has been caught and extradited to the United Arab Emirates after an international manhunt. Organization says it tracked down Kaidane Zacharias Habitamariam, who is originally from Eritrea, and that's in Sudan. He was wanted for allegedly heading a major criminal organization responsible for the kidnapping, extortion, and murder of East African migrants. Well, two teens arrested over Jerusalem Christian cemetery vandalism. Israeli police have arrested two teenagers for questioning last Thursday evening on suspicion they vandalized at least 28 tombstones and damaged a Protestant cemetery near Mount Zion in Jerusalem. The church, whose cemetery was vandalized, said the vandals had purposely and relentlessly smashed more than 30 gravestones. Many of them were historic. The two suspects will be brought before a judge to determine an extension to their detention. Barely a week after Brazil's leftist president Lula da Silva was sworn into office for his third non-consecutive term, supporters of his far-right opponent stormed government buildings in the country's capital. Order has been restored and hundreds arrested or detained. Brazilian officials have described the attacks as terrorism and a coup. Jared Hill has more from New York on the incidents, which recalled the January 6, 2021 assault on the U.S. Capitol.
These were the dramatic scenes from Brazil Sunday. Thousands of supporters of the country's far-right ex-president, Jair Bolsonaro, stormed the Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential palace in Brasilia. Some of the demonstrators called for a military intervention to restore Bolsonaro to power. All three buildings were mostly empty at the time of the hours-long attacks. Security officials have taken back control of the facilities, and hundreds of rioters have been arrested. Brazil's newly sworn-in president, Lula da Silva, and other officials toured the damage late Sunday. Earlier, Lula criticized the lack of security that allowed the riots to happen. He vowed to punish those responsible and place the blame on Bolsonaro, who left the country for Florida before Lula's swearing in last week. On Twitter, Bolsonaro denied Lula's condemnations of him and gave support for peaceful demonstrations, but added that invading buildings is unlawful. For many Americans, the attack in Brazil drew close parallels to the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol by pro-Trump supporters 2 years ago.
We've seen the rise of populism in global democracies around the world, from the UK to India to Brazil to the United States to Mexico, and we've seen it in the past.
President Biden called the situation, quote, outrageous while visiting El Paso, Texas on Sunday. And on Twitter, he condemned, quote, the assault on democracy and the peaceful transfer of power in Brazil. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Brazil's top court has removed the governor of Brasilia for 90 days, alleging security flaws allowed the riots to take place. Multiple world leaders condemned the situation in Brazil on Twitter and voiced their support for Brazil's current president, Lula. And so have members of the U.S. Congress, with some Democrats calling on the federal government to not allow Bolsonaro to stay in Florida. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got a cold start for us again today. We're at 36 in Joplin right now, feeling like 30 with a south-southeast breeze at 7. Winds are going to start gusting later today, anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour, and then we'll see gusty winds return as we head into Wednesday as well. So today and Wednesday, a trash can knocked over kind of day for us. Make sure it's secure out there. Across the region, temperatures look like this: 31 Iola, 33 Yates Center, 32 Parsons Chatopa, 31 Miami, and 34 Neosho with the wind. Feels like 26 in Iola Chanute, 32 in Parsons and Carthage, and feels like 31 in Lamar. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks good. We got a green light for your morning drive as we are clear and cold, and a green light for your evening drive as we are mostly clear to partly cloudy, and still not bad otherwise. Kids getting on the bus this morning looking pretty decent, 33 by 7 a.m., so they're going to need that coat. Winds start gusting later up to that 20 to 30 mile an hour range, 54 by 3 o'clock. Heading for a high of 54 today under mostly clear skies, and as we head into this evening, staying above average down to 40, and we'll see clouds increasing towards sunrise. As we head into tomorrow, though, check this out: 61 for Tuesday, up to 61 Wednesday, maybe some evening storms, down to 36. The 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so still above normal, but a little chillier. Normal overnight lows Thursday and Friday night, and we warm back up again Sunday to 56. Got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities say just before 10 Sunday night, a man entered the Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin with a handgun. The individual was wearing a tan hoodie that he had gathered around his face to conceal his identity. Witnesses say he got into a vehicle and proceeded east towards Webb City with an undisclosed amount of money. Authorities say no one was injured, and anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Jasper County Dispatch or Sheriff's Office. The suspect in last week's armed robbery of a convenience store in Wheaton, Missouri is arrested and charged. Wheaton police say they arrested Jonathan Worthington of Aurora for the robbery. Authorities say Worthington walked into the Fast Trip store, showed a handgun, and demanded cash before leaving. He's now charged with armed robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Independence, Kansas authorities respond to a hostage situation early Friday morning just before 3 a.m. Authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl who'd hung up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, they learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. Knife wounds did not appear to be serious. The suspect surrendered peacefully. The victim was released. There was no danger to the public. Jasper County celebrates a new courts building with a ribbon cutting. On Friday, the courts building opened to tours for the public until noon. The building at 633 South Pearl has 6 courtrooms, as well as the county clerk, assessor, and collector's offices in the building. It's also home to the prosecuting attorney and court administration. Judge David Mooten says it was time for an upgrade. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. It's a scene that's been playing out in arcades and living rooms for decades, but now competitive video gaming has organized on college campuses. Marcus McIntosh meets a Mario Kart champion.
We're at Marshalltown Community College inside the esports arena, where we sit down with National Junior College Athletic Association of Esports national champion Amber Lauthers and challenge her to the game she dominates with a little help from Luigi.
Well, I just crossed the finish line. Didn't I win?
But you got 2 more laps.
Amber Lauthers has been playing Mario Kart for years. Despite a few tips, I was still no match for her in a game in which she has proven to be the best of the best.
Okay, how come I'm not going? Oh, okay.
You could get a perfect start boost if you time it correctly.
At the beginning of the school year, she saw an advertisement and walked into the esports arena and onto the newly formed esports program at Marshalltown Community College.
They just asked me, like, what games do you play?
The esports coaches watched her play Mario Kart, and they knew.
Amber is really something special.
The college sophomore is successful with a controller in her hands because she is truly a student of the game.
Amber comes in at least 2 hours early. She scouts her opponents. She practices like crazy. You know, everything that you would think about a champion doing in traditional sports.
Amber is humbled by but proud of her national championship. She is just as proud of how well she fits in as the only female member of the esports team.
It's probably here in this esports program is the first time that, like, in my life that I can remember where I truly felt accepted as a gamer.
Amber is hoping her success is an example to others. No matter how they look or are perceived, there's a place for everyone in esports.
Well, I've proven that no matter how you identify, you can just come in and become a national champion.
Amber's goal is to transfer to a 4-year college or university and continue to compete in esports. Before that, she plans to defend her national championship this spring.
Well, games like Mario Kart offer competitive online play, so anyone can test their mettle against the best of the best. We'll be right back.
All right, we've got a pretty decent day for us, 54 for our high. We'll have some increasing clouds this afternoon, then we'll be back to mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, and it will be a bit breezy. We're talking wind gusts 20 to 30 miles an hour today. Tonight we stay above average, dropping back down to 40 degrees. We'll start off partly cloudy, and then we will see increasing clouds as the overnight hours progress, but we're going to stay warm. We're going to be well above average tomorrow and Wednesday, 61 both days, maybe some evening storms on Wednesday, and that system's going to bring our temperatures back down, still above normal, but down. 36 for the low, 44 Thursday, 41 Friday, 47 on Saturday, then we're back up to 56 on Sunday, and check out the overnight lows as well. We stay well above average as we head in the next couple of 3 days, and then Thursday, Friday night, that's actually about average for us. As you see, as we warm up Saturday, overnight lows follow suit as well, start warming up as well. So not bad for January, and just remember, we are still in winter. We got more right after this.
Right now at 6, breaking overnight, an armed man robs the Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin, and the police are looking for help from the public.
And we've got a clear but cold start for us today. However, it is going to warm up and the winds are going to increase with that. We'll talk about all of it coming up.
And a new school in Joplin means new opportunities for the community and potential new traffic concerns for drivers. Amber Jenkins takes us to the intersection of Main and Murphy to see how buses, parents, and traffic will flow around the new Dover Hill Elementary School.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. It's Monday, but remember, once we get past Monday, it's a downhill run to Friday from there.
Yes.
We just have to get through Monday. And I think we're going to do so quite well because we've got a pretty decent weather day lined up for us. We're at 35 in Joplin right now. Feels like 29. The south breeze at 7. And here's the thing, though. We got to deal with this. We're going to see wind gusts increasing to 20 to 30 miles an hour as we head into this afternoon. But as you can also see, it's short-lived. And we won't see another really gusty day until we head into Wednesday. And so that makes today and Wednesday a trash can knocked over kind of day. So make sure your trash can is securely in place. We do have a chilly start for us again. We're at 31 in Iola, 33 Yates Center, Parsons, 34 Chetopa, 33 Miami, 32 Lamar, Nevada, and up to 35 in Carthage and Monette. But you factor in that wind, and some of us getting a bit of a wind chill, like 25 in Iola is what it feels like, 27 Pittsburgh, Nevada, 29 in Lamar, and 30 is what it feels like in Carthage this morning. MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line looks pretty good so far. We have a green light for your morning drives. It'll be mostly clear and cold. And as we head into the afternoon, not bad for your evening drive either. We'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy, a little bit milder, so a green light there as well. Kids getting on the bus, they're going to want to grab that coat. 33 degrees at 7 a.m., south breeze 5 to 15. The wind gusts should really start to pick up for us as we head into the afternoon. We'll be mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock and 54. Heading for a high today of 54, so a pretty pleasant day otherwise. We'll be partly to mostly cloudy in the early afternoon, and then we'll start to clear out. As we head into this evening, we'll have partly cloudy skies to start. Clouds will increase as we head into the overnight hours, down to 40 for the low. 61 tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe some evening storms down into the 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then mild weather returns in the second half of the weekend as we're back up to 56 on Sunday. So not bad at all ahead of us. Not bad whatsoever.
Yeah, looking forward to a nice, pleasant week.
Not going to be too bad. We're watching the Wednesday evening storms. A couple of those could be on the strong side. It looks like right now it's just going to be some good old general thunderstorms in the area.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Thanks, Chris. Well, breaking overnight as Jasper County detectives report an armed robbery at Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin. Authorities say just before 10 o'clock Sunday night, a man entered the store with a handgun. Individual was wearing a tan hoodie that he had gathered around his face to conceal his identity. He then demanded cash and fled south on foot. Witnesses say he got into a vehicle and proceeded east toward Webb City with an undisclosed amount of money. Authorities say no one was injured. They believe Casey's will be open for normal operations. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Jasper County Dispatch or the Sheriff's Office. You can follow this story as it develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a three-car crash in Greene County takes the life of a man from Republic, Missouri. At approximately 8:45 Sunday morning, 2011 GMC Canyon, driven by David Cantrell, traveled off the road on US 60 at South Farm Road, 1 mile west of Springfield. The Canyon then crossed the median and struck a concrete bridge, then entered the eastbound lanes and collided with the 2002 GMC Sonoma. That was driven by Donald Underwood. The Sonoma in turn spun and struck a 2021 Ford F-150 driven by Jose Martinez. Martinez suffered minor injuries. The occupants of the Canyon all suffered serious injuries and were transported to Mercy Springfield. Underwood, the only occupant of the Sonoma, was pronounced deceased at the scene. Well, progress can come with some growing pains, as Amber Jenkins found out at a busy intersection and home of Joplin's newest school. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Tanya. Joplin's newest elementary school is located near the intersection of North Main Street and Murphy Boulevard. Those two roads see about 16,000 and 5,000 daily cars. The school district is expecting about an additional 200 cars for pickup and drop off. However, the flow of traffic should not be affected much.
And I think with those numbers, you can see 200 vehicles is really not going to have much of a major impact.
Dover Hill Elementary.
Well, Amber, can you tell us, school started last Thursday, or it started last week for, did it start on Wednesday? I think it did.
Yeah, it started on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the first day of school, yeah.
Yeah, how did it go? How's it gone in the first week?
Of course, it's the first day. There was some issues. There was some congestion because, parents are still trying to learn the pick up and drop off method and how, pick up the kids after school. However, though, putting aside those small growing pains, the city of Joplin is proud to see that everything ran pretty smoothly on the first day of school, and everything's been running smoothly with traffic, whether it's normal commuters heading to their job or just using that intersection. The traffic from the school has not hindered the normal traffic so far.
Well, that's good news. All right, thank you, Amber. Well, on Sunday, President Biden made his first visit to the border since he took office. It comes just days after the president announced a crackdown on unauthorized border crossings and expanded restrictions on asylum. El Paso has seen a surge in migration and resources are being stretched thin. Kristen Benavides reports.
Amid intense scrutiny over his immigration policies, President Biden visited the border for the first time as commander-in-chief. In El Paso, he met with local officials as well as Border Patrol agents at the city's busiest port of entry. El Paso has been struggling to cope with an influx of migrants.
It's a real drastic situation. It's a real crisis. I don't know what's going to happen.
Pastor Rafael Garcia, one of the many faith leaders on the ground, seeing the impact firsthand.
They're not going to disappear. So you need to have some sort of a solution for them that's humane.
We have a patchwork system.
On Thursday, the president announced sweeping restrictions on asylum. The new policy says migrants crossing from Nicaragua, Cuba, and Haiti will be immediately expelled to Mexico, a policy that already applies to Venezuelans. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people a month from those four countries if they apply through a legal process and have a financial sponsor in the U.S.
I would have loved to have seen the administration lean in on immigration from day one.
Why didn't
because, you'd have to ask them that. The executive branch is not the only branch of government that needs to do its job, though.
Democratic Representative Veronica Escobar, who's at the border with Biden, says Congress needs to act. Texas Republican governor met Biden upon his arrival, where he handed him a letter expressing his views on border laws before offering sharp criticism on the administration's immigration policy.
The president, who caused the chaos of the border, needed to be here. It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
New polling shows only 38% of Americans approve of Mr. Biden's handling of immigration, while 62% disapprove. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
Following his visit to El Paso, the president will head to Mexico City for the North American Leaders Summit to discuss immigration and trafficking and drug trafficking and economic partnerships. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, it was a victory for the Buffalo Bills on the field as they won their game against the Patriots. But it was a bigger victory off the field as their safety, Damar Hamlin, continues to show signs of recovery. Plus, experts warn the latest COVID Omicron subvariant could prove to be the most transmissible one to date. We've got details. And Chris has more of your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Where'd I put my water? Topping Nation Watch this morning, the Buffalo Bills won their first game since Damar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest on the field nearly a week ago. They defeated the New England Patriots 35-23 in a home game. Fans and NFL teams voiced their support with prayer and tributes, as Hamlin, who remains in an Ohio hospital, showed strong signs of recovery. Bradley Blackburn has more.
The Bills did it for Damar.
This is storybook, an opening kickoff return for Damar Hamlin, and this place is absolutely going wild.
With their safety Damar Hamlin recovering in an Ohio hospital, Buffalo scored a first-play touchdown, winning Sunday's home game against the New England Patriots. The Bills made their triumphant return to the field after Hamlin went into cardiac arrest during last Monday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's been amazing, but all that was for him, and I'm happy for the things that happened to me, but I was spirited. I felt like he was out there with us.
All around Buffalo's Highmark Stadium Sunday, good spirits were in large supply as fans celebrated Hamlin's remarkable progress.
That he's awake, he's cognitive, it's a miracle.
Just outside, fans signed a giant get well card for the 24-year-old safety. In Cincinnati and at NFL games nationwide, Hamlin's 3 has become an inspiring symbol.
Just to see, the whole NFL and the whole country, sit there and surround him and give prayer was absolutely unbelievable.
Buffalo has seen tragedy in the last year, a mass shooting, a deadly record-breaking blizzard, and now Hamlin's injury. But Bills fans say celebrating his recovery at the game was a moment of joy.
It's just a community coming together, and not only that, every community coming together because we all love the Bills that much.
Cheering on his teammates from his hospital bed, Hamlin tweeted a photo of himself sitting up and wearing his jersey and cap. He wrote, "Game time." Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Buffalo, New York.
Hamlin continued tweeting during the game, celebrating with his teammates and thanking fans for their support. The Bills now look forward to the playoffs. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we are clear and cold to start the day. So you can see no traffic problems on the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. And we're looking good from 7th and Rangeline as well. No major traffic problems out there. Clear skies, cold weather. We are going to warm up. We are going to get windy. We're going to talk about all of that and bring you some weather trivia when we come back. All right, time for a little weather trivia this morning. We want to know if a tornado warning or any other severe weather warning is issued, what system does the National Weather Service use to warn the public? Is it the emergency alert system, the severe warning system, the local warning system, or the emergency dissemination system? While you think about that, let's take a look at our forecast. We're 35 in Joplin right now. 29 is what it feels like with the south breeze at 7. And we do have a bit of a chilly start for us. And we're also going to have windy conditions. We're looking at wind gusts pushing 20 to 30 miles an hour as we head into this afternoon. They don't last long, but they are there, and then they start to return as we head into Wednesday. So today and Wednesday, both a trash can knocked over kind of day, so make sure it's secured for you. As I mentioned, a cold start, though, for us. 31 in Iola, 33 Parsons, Miami, 36 Neosho, 35 Carthage, and 32 in Nevada and Lamar. You factor in the wind, feels like 27 Nevada, 29 in Lamar, and 32 in Parsons. So again, it's a chilly start for us, but we are going to warm up. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looks good, and we've got a green light for your morning commute as we will be mostly clear, but a bit on the cold side. And as we head into this evening, another green light for your drive home as we're going to be looking pretty decent. Temperatures starting in the 50s, and of course, as the sun sets, those temperatures will fall. Kids getting on the bus this morning will need that jacket as we are 33 degrees, south breeze 5 to 15. Wind gusts will start to pick up as we head into this afternoon. Mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock and 54 is our anticipated high for today. So aside from the wind, a pretty decent day. We'll have some mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, and then we'll clear back out again, mostly clear skies. Heading into tonight, we remain above average, starting with partly cloudy, and then clouds will increase. We drop back down to a low of 40 degrees. And the only thing the future track has to show us over the next couple of days is heading into Wednesday, where we could see some evening showers and thunderstorms across the area. Now, the good news is, at least right now, we're not really looking at any severe weather. There could be a strong storm or two, but for the most part, we should be okay. And this wintry weather gets pretty close, but it should also stay to our north on Wednesday. All right, now for the answer to our question, what system does the National Weather Service use to warn people of severe weather warnings? Well, if you happen to pick A, the Emergency Alert System, you would be right. As a matter of fact, the EAS replaced what was called the Emergency Broadcast System back in 1997. All right, we're up to 61 tomorrow, 61 on Wednesday, so pretty decent conditions. Down to 44, though, on Thursday, 41 on Friday, 47 Saturday, and then back up to 56 as we head into Sunday. So as you can see, temperatures remaining above average, a bit colder, and our overnight lows will drop down to normal as we head into Thursday and Friday night, and then they will start to pick right back up again as we head into the weekend. We got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, nearly 14.5 million American children and teenagers are now obese, raising their risk for both cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. The American Academy of Pediatrics has released new guidance saying obesity treatment is safe and effective and should not be delayed. Those treatments may include nutrition support, physical activity and behavioral therapy, and weight loss medications. The AAP says teens with severe obesity should be evaluated for metabolic and bariatric surgery. For people who exercise regularly, a handful of almonds could be the ideal snack. A study in North Carolina found adults who ate 2 ounces of almonds a day for a month reported feeling less fatigue and tension after intense exercise. They also reported better leg and back strength and less muscle damage. Here's another reason to add gardening to your hobbies. Researchers in Colorado found people who participate in community gardening eat more fiber and get more physical activity. 2 ways of reducing the risk of cancer and chronic diseases. Gardeners also report less stress and anxiety. Well, scientists are warning a new Omicron subvariant may be the most transmissible one to date. Doctors are urging Americans to protect themselves with the latest booster shot. Michael George has details.
A new year and a new COVID subvariant is driving up COVID-19 cases. The World Health Organization is calling XBB.1.5 the most transmissible subvariant detected yet.
It does have a growth advantage above all of the other subvariants so far. We don't have any data on severity yet or on the clinical picture.
New CDC data shows cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are trending upward at a time of year when hospitals are feeling the strain.
Our ER is at full capacity, and so is our hospital with critical care beds.
With about a quarter of Americans living in high COVID-19 counties, the CDC is urging indoor masking in New York, Miami, Boston, and Fort Worth.
So I try to just keep going and do what I need to do to try to stay safe.
Experts say the #1 thing people can do is get that latest booster.
The new bivalent vaccine, this is the new one that we updated in September, does seem to provide a good degree of protection against infection and terrific protection against serious illness.
U.S. officials are also concerned about the growing COVID crisis in China and a lack of information sharing.
One of the things that China is not doing is sharing its genomic surveillance data. Every other country does.
Officials say that withholding makes it harder for the scientific community to spot new variants as they emerge. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Paxlovid antiviral is believed to be effective against the new subvariant for patients whose doctors recommend the treatment. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are watching a warmer but windier day for us today, but we got a little bit before we get there. We're starting at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 29 with a south breeze at about 7 miles an hour. We'll start to see the wind gusts this afternoon pick up from anywhere to 20 to 30 miles an hour. But the good news is this is short-lived. As we head into the evening, they clear out. We won't see another breezy day until we head into Wednesday. As you can see, we get more wind gusts pushing in ahead of our next weather maker. So between today and Wednesday, we're looking at a trash can knocked over kind of day. So make sure it's secure. You don't want to go out there and dig up all the trash from your neighbor's yard, do you? I don't know. Maybe you do. And if you do, then by all means, leave your trash can out there. It is cold. 31 Iola, Fort Scott, 32 Pittsburgh, Miami, 33 Neosho, and 35 in Carthage. You factor in the wind. Feels like freezing in Carthage and Neosho. 29 Columbus, 28 in Pittsburgh. Feels like 26 in Iola. Taking a look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. We're looking pretty good so far. Got a green light for that morning drive as we are clear and cold. And we have a green light for your drive home as well, because we will be mostly clear to partly cloudy and a little bit milder as we head into today. Kids getting on the bus, they're going to need that jacket because it's a chilly one to start. 33 at 7 a.m., south breeze at 5 to 15. Might start seeing some of those gusts, but they'll really pick up this afternoon. We're going to have a mostly cloudy patch this afternoon. So 54 at 3 o'clock, and then after that mostly cloudy patch clears out, we return to mostly clear skies, and 54 is our high today, so well above average, and same tonight, well above average as we drop back down to 40, partly cloudy to start, and then we have increasing clouds towards sunrise. 61 tomorrow, 61 on Wednesday, maybe some evening storms, and then the 40s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and back up to 56 by next Sunday. We got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, breaking overnight, an armed man robs the Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin, and police are looking for help from the public.
And we've got a clear but cold start to our day for us. We're also looking good on the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. We'll talk about how warm we're going to get and what the wind is going to do coming up.
And a new school in Joplin means new opportunities for the community and potential new traffic concerns for drivers. Amber Jenkins takes us to the intersection of Main and Murphy to see how buses, parents, and traffic will flow around the new Dover Hill Elementary School.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a chilly start for us today, but it's all right because you know what's going to happen later today? It's going to warm up a bit.
Yeah, I like the
It's going
sound
to
of
warm
that.
up just a bit.
I like that.
But it's going to warm up even more as we head into tomorrow and Wednesday. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that forecast? We are cold. 35 degrees in Joplin right now. Feels like 29 with that south breeze at 7 miles an hour. Here's the deal, though. We got to trade off the warmer weather for some wind. And as we head into this afternoon, we're going to see wind gusts 20 to 30 miles an hour across the area. They will calm down by this evening, and then they will return to being gusty as we head into Wednesday with our next storm system, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So today and Wednesday, a trash can knocked over kind of day. Make sure it is secured. As mentioned, it is cold this morning. Got 29 in Sedan, 33 Parsons, 34 Chautauqua, 35 in Carthage, and at the freezing level in Miami. You factor in the wind chill, feels like 28 in Miami, 28 Chanute, 26 in Iola, and 29 Nevada. So the good news is the wind chill isn't significantly different from our current temperature. MoDOT camera, I-44 and Range Line looks good. Got a green light for us this morning as we are mostly clear but cold, and then a green light for the drive home as we'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy and a wee bit on the milder side. Kids getting on the bus this morning. They have to do this. They're going to have to put on a jacket because it's going to be 33 about 7 a.m. South breeze at 5 to 15. And then see the gusts increase, clouds increase a bit this afternoon as well, up to 54 by 3 o'clock. And as a matter of fact, 54 is our expected high today. Now, it's interesting. We're going to have this layer of clouds pass through this afternoon, so we're going to get mostly cloudy for a bit, and then we'll return to mostly clear conditions. As we head into this evening, we start partly cloudy, and then clouds will increase. We're still above average, though, dropping down to 40 for our overnight low. But check out tomorrow and Wednesday, 61 both days. Could see some evening showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, and that's going to cool us down to 36 Wednesday night. Holding on to the 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But as you can see, we have a warming trend return. We're back up to 56 by next Sunday. So again, for January, overall, not too shabby out there whatsoever.
A little bit cooler towards the end of the week than I would like, but I guess it is winter.
It is winter. It is January. It could be a lot cooler.
Very true.
So I think the 40s are definitely reasonable at this point.
Not bad for the weekend, too.
Not bad at all.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, the suspect in last week's armed robbery at a convenience store in Wheaton, Missouri is arrested and charged. Wheaton police say they arrested Jonathan Worthington of Aurora for the robbery. Authorities say Worthington walked into the Fast Trip store, showed a handgun, and demanded cash before leaving. He's now charged with armed robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Independence, Kansas authorities respond to a hostage situation early Friday morning. Just before 3 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl who had hung up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, they learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. The knife wounds did not appear to be serious. The suspect surrendered peacefully and the victim was released. There was no danger to the public. Well, Friday morning was the last ride for retired Lamar Police Department and Barton County K-9 Hondo. During Hondo's 9 years of service, he assisted in the seizure of more than 1,000 grams of marijuana, 4,000 grams of methamphetamine, and numerous weapons. Due to health issues, the tough family decision was made recently to euthanize Hondo. And during his last ride, Hondo was joined by several four-state area police departments, as well as the Barton and Newton County Sheriff's offices, who escorted him to Central Pet Care. The home for Joplin's newest school may also be the home for Joplin's latest traffic problems. Amber Jenkins joins us in studio this morning to tell us about cars, classrooms, and traffic concerns.
Thank you, Tanya. School is in session at Dover Hill Elementary, which means traffic around the school might get a little congested. I spoke with the Director of Public Works of Joplin to learn, will this new school affect the flow of traffic? Dover Hill Elementary is Joplin's newest school. It's located at the intersection of North Main Street and Murphy Boulevard, a busy area for commuters.
The city and the school district work together, along with the Department of Transportation, and a traffic study was conducted for the school. It's a big enough traffic generator that we felt that was important.
The traffic study was vital when planning the new school.
That's why you will see the location of the entrance and exit onto Main Street. That was a result of that study, and then the location for the parent drop-off and pickup. Why that entrance comes off of Murphy Boulevard.
A new school can mean a frenzy of buses and parents picking up and dropping off students here at the intersection of Murphy Boulevard and North Main Street in Joplin. However, the school and the city made sure to work together to make sure that your commute to work is not hindered by the additional traffic.
And everyone was, of course, working towards the same goal. We were concerned about safety to the traveling public and the folks using the school. So it all went very well.
The school district estimated 200 cars per day for pickup and drop-off. That's in addition to Main Street's 16,000 daily cars and Murphy Boulevard's 5,000 daily cars. However, they say no need to fret about traffic congestion.
And I think with those numbers, you can see 200 vehicles is really not going to have much of a major impact.
Dover Hill Elementary also implemented a staggered dismissal, so traffic is not greatly affected.
Amber, you talk about a staggered dismissal. What exactly does that mean for parents?
So basically, when it's time to drop off your kids in the mornings, they usually give them a range of time. So instead of everybody arriving, let's say at 7 a.m. bright and early, it's staggered. And then when it's time for dismissal, they also dismiss children at different increments. So the parent line can keep flowing, and two, it doesn't back out into the main flow of traffic as well.
Of course, that works if the parents follow those times.
That is a key as well.
All right, thanks, Amber. Well, this morning we are discussing pain reparations. Reagan Pickett says her entire life she's heard the traumatic tales of what happened in Rosewood, Florida in 1923.
Now, the town's black residents fell under siege by an angry white mob after a white woman said she was assaulted by a black man.
Homes and businesses burned down, black families lynched, targeted, and torn apart. Old newspaper articles speak of, quote, Negro homes raided and burned down.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Should countries pay reparations? So far, 13% of you say they should, 87% of you say they should not. Make sure you vote through our website at koamnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so in our app and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
That's right. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Newly released job numbers show the second best year on record for jobs, but is that the entire story? We'll give you the details.
Plus, we're going to take another look at that milder forecast and a bit of a breezy day that's ahead of us when the KOAM Morning News returns.
In Consumer Watch this morning, new job numbers released Friday show companies added 223,000 jobs in December, and the unemployment rate fell to 3.5%. And while it was the second best year on record for jobs, there are still nearly twice as many openings as there are job seekers. Southwest Airlines says its holiday meltdown could cost the company as much as $825 million. The airline says about half of that is from lost revenue, and the other half is the cost of reimbursing passengers and paying workers overtime. Over the holidays, Southwest canceled nearly 17,000 flights when its dated computer system collapsed. That cost does not include any potential fines from the Department of Transportation, which is investigating the massive service disruption. And food delivery company DoorDash wants to help clear out some of those post-holiday gift returns. It's launched a service that will pick up any package a customer wants to mail and deliver it to a UPS, FedEx, or U.S. Postal Service location for a $5 flat fee for up to 5 packages. That fee is $3 for Dash Pass members. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got a cold start for us today. We're 35 in Joplin with the south breeze at 7, making it feel like it is 29 degrees. And across the area, it is, again, chilly. But first, we're going to talk about the wind, too. 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts this afternoon. But the good news is those winds will clear out pretty quickly this evening, and we won't see really gusty winds return until Wednesday evening ahead of our next system, which will bring us some shower and thunderstorm chances. So today and Wednesday, a trash can knocked over kind of day. Just make sure it's up against something like a shed or whatever you've got out there. Or if it's full of trash, that may be heavy enough on a day like today. 31 Iola, Pittsburgh, 34 Chatopa, 32 Miami, 33 Neosho, and 33 in Lamar. You factor in that light breeze, as you can see, not a significant difference. Feels like 30 in Lamar, 26 Iola, 31 Parsons, feels like 28 in Miami, because right now at least the breeze is light. All right, take a look. MoDOT camera, I-44 and Rangeline, quite a few cars out there, but we got a green light from the weather department for your morning drive as we are mostly clear and cold, and a green light for your drive home as we will be mostly clear to partly cloudy and a pretty mild afternoon ahead of us. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 7 a.m., they're going to need that coat, 33 degrees, south breeze 5 to 15, and then those gusts really start to hit us this evening as we are mostly cloudy this afternoon, up to 54 by 3 o'clock. So make sure they're prepped, but otherwise looking like a pretty good day. Well, just in case you've not been aware, we've got birthdays and anniversaries coming up right after this.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, more of Prince Harry's 60 Minutes conversation with Anderson Cooper, plus reaction from London. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's fourth state hero, Charles Mason. Staff Sergeant Mason served in the Army from 1942 to 1945. He served in the European theater with the 89th Division, 355th Infantry. During his service, he earned a Combat Infantry Badge and a European Theater Badge. A native of New Albany, Kansas, we thank you. Today's four-state hero, Charles Mason.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays today. We're going to start in Sheldon with Tom Hancock celebrating his first birthday, and this comes with love from Ninny. Happy birthday, Tom.
And we got a belated birthday wish going out to Baylor Steps. That's a really pretty spelling for Baylor. She is now 9 years old.
And we've got Jace Marbury celebrating birthday number 9 in Fort Scott. This comes with love from Mom, Dad, Big Brother Weston, and Ty.
And Kylan Allen is celebrating another year older in Carl Junction. Happy birthday, Kylan.
And we've got Joshua Westoff Scheidler celebrating birthday number 11 in Parsons with love from Gig and Charlie.
I'll give you a thumbs up for that, too. All right, happy birthday. And happy birthday going out to Gannon Carson, who's now 11 years old in Girard. Happy birthday, Gannon.
And we've got Quentin Irsick in Fort Scott celebrating birthday number 11. Happy birthday, Quentin.
In Chanute, Tanner Bolt celebrating birthday number 13 this year.
And over in Columbus, Aubrey Nelson celebrating birthday number 14. Happy birthday, Aubrey.
And also in Columbus, Abby Nelson is celebrating a birthday. It's a great one, Abby.
And we've got Lena Forkner in Chatopa celebrating another year wiser. Lena, happy birthday.
James Hutto in Columbus, happy birthday to you.
We've also got Rick Gamble sending out some belated birthday wishes to Rick in Uniontown as he celebrates number 68.
And in Pittsburgh, Judy Meister celebrating the big 7-0 this year. Happy birthday, Judy.
And back down in Columbus, we've got Marcella Carter celebrating birthday number 85. Certainly hope it's a great one, Marcella.
That's a great picture there of her, too. And our very own Rye Addis, the KOAM General Sales Manager, celebrating a birthday today.
And that also means that our very own Digital Content Manager, Stacy Strader, is celebrating a birthday today as well. Happy birthday, Stacy.
Happy birthday, cuz. All right, our list goes on. We've got Holly Patterson. Happy birthday to you. And Teresa Hallam is turning 52. Birthday love coming from your husband, kids, and the 16 grandkids. You're the best, and we love you.
All right, this was a fantastic birthday list, so we appreciate your help. And to continue helping us make it a great one, Tanya's going to tell you how.
That's right. You can send them to either of our 2 emails there. Just don't forget the S on both of them. They're birthdays at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com.
And while you're checking out our website, because you know it's got a lot of neat things to check out, why don't you check out the Birthday Club? You can sign up for that. You get great deals from local businesses. Additionally, you get a nice birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. Just go over to KOAMNewsNow.com. Sign up for that Birthday Club today. Well, Christmas might be a thing of the recent past, but some people still haven't decided on how to get rid of their trees. Coming up when KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14. We'll take you to a farm in Michigan where Christmas trees have turned into tasty delicacies for some of the four-legged residents. Stick around for that coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 at 7 a.m. And as we start our day, it is a bit of a cold one. We're at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 29 with a south breeze at 7 miles an hour. We're going to see the wind gusts start to pick up from 20 to 30 miles an hour this afternoon, but it's short-lived because by this evening they're gone and we don't see gusty winds return until we head into Wednesday. Southerly breeze again. This is ahead of our next weather maker that could bring us some showers and thunderstorms. So today and Wednesday, a knocked over trash can kind of day. So make sure it is secure so you don't have to pick up all that trash again and put it back in there, because once it's been in the trash can, it's really nasty at that point. At 31 Iola, 32 Fort Scott, 31 Pittsburgh, 34 Chatopa, 32 Miami, 25 Grove, 33 in Neosho, 35 Carthage, and freezing in Nevada. Now, the good news is it's a light breeze right now, so the wind chill's not significantly different. Feel like 26 Iola, Pittsburgh, 30 Lamar, freezing in Carthage and Neosho. Feels like 28 in Miami. Still cold, but not a significant difference, and that's the good news. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looking pretty good. Got a green light for your morning drive as we are clear and cold. And as you head home, another green light, which is nice to put on there, as we'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy across the region and a bit milder. And we'll get to that milderness here in just a second. All right, kids getting on the bus this morning, definitely going to need that coat. We're at 33 degrees under mostly clear skies, south breeze 5 to 15. The wind gusts will start to pick up as we head into this afternoon. As we mentioned earlier, it will be mostly cloudy by 3 o'clock, 54 degrees, and 54 is our forecasted high today. What's interesting is we're going to be mostly clear, partly cloudy up until about 11:30 this morning. Then we're going to have this batch of clouds that's going to hold on for a few hours this afternoon and make us mostly cloudy, and then they'll clear back out again. We got a pretty decent day lined up for us, well above average, and we remain above average heading into tonight, dropping back down to a low of 40. We'll have partly cloudy skies to start and see those clouds begin to increase as we head into the overnight hours. That was one button too many. So let's take a look at the future track. Nothing really to show us the next couple of days other than those increasing clouds tomorrow. Then we head into Wednesday evening. We start to see some showers, could even have a couple of thunderstorms out there. The good news is we're not looking at anything too crazy. We're right on the edge of maybe a strong storm or two, but it looks like any stronger storms should remain down across Arkansas and off to our east. As we head into early Thursday morning, you can see we're still fairly mild here locally, so there's some wintry precipitation on the future track, but that should just miss us to the north. And after that exits, we get back to a pretty decent several days ahead of us, which we can now show you on the 7-day forecast. We're up to 61 tomorrow and Wednesday with those evening storms as a possibility. That system does knock us down a little bit. We're down to 36 by Wednesday night, in the 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then we return to the mid-50s by next Sunday. So normal overnight lows for a couple of nights, and then those start to warm up as well. Got a little bit more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities say just before 10 o'clock Sunday night, a man entered the Casey's on North Main Street in Joplin with a handgun. The individual was wearing a tan hoodie that he had gathered around his face to conceal his identity. Witnesses say he got into a vehicle and proceeded east towards Webb City with an undisclosed amount of money. Authorities say no one was injured. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Jasper County Dispatch or Sheriff's Office. The suspect in last week's armed robbery at a convenience store in Wheaton, Missouri is arrested and charged. Wheaton police say they arrested Jonathan Worthington of Aurora for the robbery. Authorities say Worthington walked into the Fast Trip store, showed a handgun, and demanded cash before leaving. He's now charged with armed robbery, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Independence, Kansas authorities respond to a hostage situation early Friday morning. Just before 3 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl and a hang-up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, they learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. The knife wounds did not appear to be serious. The suspect surrendered peacefully. The victim was released. There was no danger to the public. Jasper County celebrates a new courts building with a ribbon cutting. On Friday, the courts building opened to tours for the public until noon. The building at 633 South Pearl has 6 courtrooms, as well as the county clerk, assessor, and collector's offices in the building. It's also home to the prosecuting attorney and court administration. Judge David Mooten says it was time for an upgrade. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, it's a cold start for us. We're warming up to 54 degrees. We'll have winds from 20 to 30 miles an hour in terms of the gusts later today. Otherwise, a fairly decent, well above average day for us. Heading into tonight, we drop back down to an above average low of 40 degrees. Partly cloudy to start, then clouds begin to increase. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast, up to 61 tomorrow and Wednesday. Maybe some evening storms on Wednesday. And then we cool down a bit. We're down into the 40s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then back up to the mid-50s by next Sunday.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making Amish country casserole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
All right, and your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Rap lyrics have been used in more than 500 criminal court cases, including one involving once rising star Mac. Ahead on CBS Mornings, meet the artist whose career took a hit when his music was used against him in court.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Yana Tula takes us up, and away to spend some time with bald eagles at the Roaring River State Park.
Plus, do you have what it takes to drive the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? Oh, we're going to find out if you do or not. I've seen that thing. It's really cool.
It is.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We're going to see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.